When the first chill of autumn in 1793 drifted through the rusted iron bars of the Parisian prison, the air was thick with the damp, solemn scent of dust. Within that cramped cell known as the conciergerie, the woman who once held the absolute scepter over French aesthetics now clutched a coarse sewing needle with trembling resolve. The candlelight flickered violently as the oil ran dry, casting a glow upon a countenance pale from prolonged malnutrition, yet possessing a serenity akin to a saint. She was Marie Antoinette, the queen scorned by the masses as Madame Deficit, yet immortalized by romantics as the Rose of France. She had presided over the most opulent sensory banquets of the known world, only to learn in her final hours how to mend the shattered fragments of her dignity in the dark. This is a tale of self-redemption after a precipitous fall, a story of a spiritual fortress amidst the ruins of grandeur. Breathe slowly and let your thoughts follow the fading ink back to the 18th century, a world steeped in both the smoke of revolution and the fragrance of silk. The turning point of Marie Antoinette's destiny began not with the cannons of the Bastille, but with a slight dizziness she felt the day she first stepped into Versailles, overwhelmed by the dazzling hall of mirrors. Young and innocent, she arrived on French soil with a celestial lightness, untouched by the dust of the world. Within the verdant estates of Versailles, she was forced to imprison the girl within who longed to run free, turning instead to a hollow world constructed of rumors, choreographed steps, and mountain-high jewels. When her husband, Louis XVI, ascended the throne and the heavy title of queen was placed upon her brow, she felt no joy in power, but rather a profound, gnawing trepidation. Her frenzied consumption, born from a desperate lack of security, became her only weapon against a crushing loneliness. On the day of her coronation, though the Parisian sun shone brilliantly, she glimpsed behind the expensive silks the bottomless hunger and brewing hatred in the eyes of the populace. Ruling a nation teetering on the brink of a storm, Marie was more a child lost in a labyrinth than a calculated sovereign. Fate bared its most hideous fangs during the farce known as the affair of the diamond necklace. In response, she began to retreat to the Petit Trianon, her private farm, donning simple white cotton dresses and tending to sheep and cows like a commoner, seeking a desperate inner peace. Yet, the world outside would not forgive this exquisite seclusion. Rumors of her excess spread like a plague through the streets. During those gala nights ignited by starlight, she would often slip away, standing alone in the shadows of the garden, feeling a chill that seeped into her very bones. She exhorted herself, "No matter how the world roars, I must maintain the pride of the House of Habsburg." This ultimate sense of dignity would become a spiritual shield, one that no force could shatter on the long, arduous road to the guillotine. The torrential storms of 1789 shattered her imperial illusions forever. On that night when Versailles was besieged by an angry mob, she displayed a composure that shamed seasoned generals, clutching her children as she stood unflinching before the glinting spears. Then came the long years of captivity. In the cells of the Temple prison, she was no longer the queen served by 1,000 hands, but a mother mending her son's torn trousers with her own fingers. She discovered that a woman's strength does not emanate from a crown, but from the ability to light a flickering candle of hope for her loved ones when catastrophe strikes. She began to speak of forgiveness. Her voice held no malice, only a serene detachment born of witnessing the fickle tides of human nature. This expansiveness, found after seeing through the rise and fall of empires, became her sole consolation, allowing her to face the most humiliating accusations with a tranquility as silent and vast as a snow-capped mountain. The final hours of Marie Antoinette were spent in a rhythm both solemn and nearly sanctified. At dawn on October 16, 1793, the hair that had once set the fashion for all of Europe, now turned prematurely white, was shorn away. She donned the white dress she had mended herself and sat upon the filthy tumbril, passing through a sea of people lining the streets of Paris. Throughout the journey, she kept her back straight and her gaze fixed forward, exhibiting neither arrogance nor fear. As she ascended the scaffold and accidentally stepped on the executioner's foot, she instinctively whispered, "Monsieur, I ask your pardon, I did not do it on purpose." In that instant, the raucous square fell into a deathly silence. Her passing was like the final streak of a setting sun, marking the official end of the Ancien Regime, the golden age of the Bourbon dynasty, amidst a piercing and hollow echo. Even today, centuries later, her name remains the most captivating fold in the fabric of history. She left behind no feats of conquest, but rather a profound human blueprint for how to face adversity. She teaches us that even if the entire world bears its most hideous grin at you, the nobility of your heart is a garment tailored by your own hand. She is one of the rare women in history who truly achieved eternity through loss, maintaining an inner grace amidst absolute destitution. Beneath the tombstone at the Basilica of Saint Denis, she seems to still soothe every soul struggling in the throes of anxiety. The hem of Marie Antoinette's black gown has crossed the boundaries of prejudice and hate, living on in every soul that aspires to take a final bow with elegance. The story thus draws to a close amidst the eternal murmur of the Seine. She was never an ambitious soul born for power. she was merely an exhausted spirit who steadfastly refused to abandon her pride. She tells us that no matter how clamorous your life becomes, the elegance within is your only true and everlasting sanctuary. Just as she sought the meaning of existence through the rhythmic work of a needle on the coldest winter nights, you too may find your way. Perhaps you are currently navigating the uncertainties of life. But believe this, in everyone's life, there is a personal black gown. An inner space that requires no explanation to the world, only your own careful mending. May her composure and resilience become the softest feather in your dreams, carrying you toward the most tranquil and boundless shores of the self. Good night, and may sweet dreams be yours.